Welcome learners. I welcome you to the session Value Analysis. Value analysis is also known as value management, and it is one of the several specialized services recently offered as a tool of management. It is a systematic analysis and evaluation of the techniques and functions in various spheres of an organization with a view to exploring the channels of performance improvement so that the value in a particular product can be bettered. Value analysis aims at the cost reduction from the viewpoint of value. The commonly used cost reduction techniques reduce costs by economizing the expenditure and increasing the productivity, whereas the value analysis probes into the economic attributes of the value. The concept of value analysis is that by a continuous process of planned action, it is possible to improve the performance, increase the value in a product, and then reduce the cost. Society of American Value Engineering has defined value analysis as: value analysis is a systematic application of recognized techniques which identify the function of a product or service, establish a monetary value for the function, and provide the necessary function reliably at the lowest overall cost. So, value analysis is said to be a systematic application of all the recognized techniques which will identify the function of any product or a service and establish a monetary value of that function and provide the function at the lowest possible cost. Value engineering is a process of determining the value of a product and or service during the various stages of the product life cycle. The design stage provides more scope for value engineering to get the better results. During the maturity stage in a product life cycle, the focus will be on the components. Here the cost reduction is possible through the substitution and locating alternative sources of that original components. Just as industrial engineering highlights the productivity in industry, value engineering highlights the awareness of determining the values to establish the cost of every item or the activity of a human endeavor. It is perhaps desirable at this stage to compare value engineering with the industrial engineering. The value of a product may be assessed in terms of cost and the function. A product is generally considered to be a good value if it has the right function and the right cost. Therefore, value is equal to function divided by cost. Often, the value and the cost are used synonymously, but this is not correct. Cost is what one has to pay to possess the item of goods and services, and cost is said to be tangible. But value is a measure of satisfaction one gets from the acquisition of the item or a service. This is tangible as well as intangible. Perceived value is based on its function such as performance, quality, appearance, or a combination of the above. To understand the concept of value, we may take any example. What is the value of a compressor in a refrigerator? What is the value of a picture tube in a television? So, that is the function of any particular component in a finished product will decide about the value. We shall see about the types of values. Usage value. Usage value represents the purpose for which the product is designed and manufactured. It may be defined as the properties and qualities which make it useful and enable it to accomplish work or useful service. For example, the purpose of the refrigerator is to keep fresh the food items or all the perishable items stored in it. Use value may be categorized into three: primary use value, secondary use value, and ancillary use value. The attributes of a product which are essential for its performance may be categorized as having primary use value. In a motor car, for instance, the engine and the other driving components may be considered to be of prime use, because in their absence the car cannot be made to run. Such items will be taken as the primary use. The mudguards or the windscreen are said to be the necessities, but the car can be driven without them. So that is called as a secondary use value. The items like a speed meter or an electric horn, etc., which are required for the better control and operation, but not very essential, are called as the auxiliary use value. Value analysis mainly refers to the use value and to some extent to the esteem value also. Cost and the exchange values are not much relevant to the industrial situations. Any inefficiency in labor or wastages of material increases the cost but does not add to the value of a product. In a very restricted sense, value may therefore be considered as the least amount of money which should be spent for creating the use and the esteem factors of a product. Esteem value. It may be defined as the properties and features of a product which could cause a customer to want to own it. It represents the attractive features of the product. When the product is highly elegant, then it is said to possess the esteem value. Say, for example, out of 4 refrigerators, an attachment may choose a particular refrigerator. A customer may choose a particular refrigerator because of its appealing color or appealing finishing. So that adds value to it. Certain attributes of a product may have use and esteem value, both of which may be considered as important. Cost value. It means the total cost required to manufacture a product. In case of manufactured items, it refers to the cost of production, and if obtained from outside, it refers to the cost of purchase. Exchange value. It refers to the properties which would enable the owner of such a product to exchange it for something else. The exchange value of a product is equivalent to its sales value. Then the time value. The value of a product is determined predominantly by the time of availability of the product or a service. Computers are capable of computing very quickly without any time delay whatsoever. So it has a time value. Place value. Value of an item or a service depends upon its availability at a particular place where it is required. Water is provided to a traveler in a desert. Any life-saving medicines that is provided to a needy patient at a hospital are said to be the place value, the place where the materials or the products are supplied. So, from these values, namely the usage value, esteem value, cost value, exchange value, time value and place value, says that the value is not unique. It varies with the perception of the people who is going to buy and consume. It is not extrinsic. It is considered to be intrinsic. So the values are created by the people and the society. Now we shall see what is the relationship between a value, function and a cost. As we said, value is equal to function by cost. The value of a product can be improved by improving its function without any increase in cost, reducing the cost, keeping the function constant, or improving the function and reducing the cost, and increasing both the performances and the cost, but increasing the performance quicker than the cost. Functions improved and cost as constant. So, we are going to have the cast iron components purchased from a sole supplier were machined into a finished product. Cracks often appear during the machining operation, and the rejection on this account was 5%, which was considered to be normal. An alternative source of supply was tapped and the components were obtained from a new supplier at about the same price as the previous supply, but the rejections came down to 2%. So this is the function improved and the cost as constant. Now functions improved as cost reduced. Two small parts were received together before the assemblies in a product. This was not giving satisfactory service as joint frequently broke off during the operations. The two parts were redesigned and machined into a combined unit, thus doing away with the necessity of rebiting. So rebiting together has failed because they are not giving a satisfactory service. So the two parts were redesigned and a combined unit has been made. Then it was successful. So it improved the function, having the machining cost as lowering than the cost of rebiting. Function constant as cost reduced. A molded rubber gasket was manufactured at a cost of ₹2.50 each. As the cost of raw material went up, the experiments were carried out with plastic rubber material. It was found that plastic rubber gasket would do equally well. The cost was substantially reduced. So products with tight tolerance limits usually involve more wage costs and sometimes need special machines for their manufacture. Cost may be reduced either by adopting alternative processing or improved technology, or the tolerance limits can be relaxed. Value ratio. Value of a product is a function of its performance and cost, but value cannot be measured in absolute terms. Value can be compared on the basis of the value ratio, that is new value divided by old value, or old cost divided by new cost. So when value comes, the new value must come in the numerator and old value must come in the denominator. Old cost must come in the numerator and new cost will come in the denominator. Thus, a product costing ₹5 per unit is being used as an essential component of a machine. Engineers design and develop a new design of a product which will perform the required function at the cost of ₹4. Now the value is 5 by 4, it is 1.25. As the value ratio is exceeding 1, then it means the reduction in cost and increases in the usage value. Functional approach to value engineering. Value engineering is always based on functional approach. A product is analyzed by the function it is required to perform. Product is essentially the result of an appropriate design to perform certain primary functions. Product also has certain secondary functions. Logically, as per the value engineering concept, the cost and the value of the product must be distributed between these two functions proportional to their relative importance. The weightage is assigned between these functions. In addition to these two functions, namely primary and secondary functions, there are other functions which are not directly related to these functions. These are termed as optional functions. Some of these may be found unnecessary during the value analysis. Coming to the primary function. Primary functions are the base purpose of the product and/or our service. For example, consider the case of a Walkman. The primary function of a Walkman is to reproduce the recorded music. Considering the popularity and pride among the students to carry a Walkman around, perhaps one could even say that primary function is to provide a status symbol. The important point to be noted is that within the organization there should be an identity of the views with regard to the desirable functions. One of the basic objectives of a manufacturing organization is the profit maximization. While the primary functions are being desired, an organization should take into account the presence of their own competitors in the market. The products must compete with the similar products in the market and appear very attractive to the consumers. If this primary function of a Walkman is the reproduction of music of very high clarity. One may not go in for the external look of a product. If providing a status symbol is also one of the primary functions, then additional features will have to be provided to ensure that the system wears a modern look to attract the customers, such as providing attractive colors and other graphic equalizers. Coming to the secondary functions. This is derived from the design considerations. For example, in a Walkman, if the design is based on wiring of transistors and valves, such items will provide the secondary functions. If the design is based on the ICs and PCBs, the method chosen to perform the basic function changes and the secondary functions are provided not by the transistors and the electronic valves but by the ICs and PCBs. Optional functions. These are the functions which do not directly contribute to its functional value. Providing additional circuitry to make a Walkman operate on voltage mains or having facilities such as graphic equalizers and stereo facility are examples of the optional functions. In addition to the battery cells, a battery eliminator circuitry can also be provided. Obviously, optional features cost money and the resultant value is only marginal. If it is not properly applied, the high cost must make the product non-competitive. A value engineer must eliminate the unnecessary functions. If a function can be eliminated, then the need to find out the means of reducing the corresponding cost of the component or retaining such function can also be done away with. The best option is to eliminate the same altogether. This will make the product more competitive and yield better profits to the organization. Now we shall pass on to the various tools used in value analysis. An organized value analysis usually utilizes a number of individuals with different types of background and experience. There are two basic tools in value analysis, namely design analysis of the required material and cost analysis of that material. First comes the design analysis. Design analysis is a step-by-step study of all phases of design of a given item in relation to the function it performs. The functional relationship of various components or parts is analyzed in relation to the performance of the unit as a whole. The analysis answers the following questions. Can any part be eliminated without impairing the operation of the complete unit? Can the design of the part be simplified to reduce its own basic cost? Can the design of the part be changed to permit the use of simplified and less costly production methods? Can less expensive but equally satisfactory materials be used in that part? So these are the questions to be answered. The answer to these questions may have four common approaches in the design analysis. The main approach would be the use of brainstorming, use of supplier's knowledge, the value analysis checklist approach, and the functional cost approach. Brainstorming is the process of creating thinking by a group of people and is based on the theory that many ideas spontaneously generated are completely infeasible but trigger off their different and high feasible data. In many cases, the supplier's knowledge and the guidance prove to be extremely valuable in a firm's total value analysis effort, as they are likely to know more about the product and its potential capabilities. Their involvement in value analysis effort can be ensured by their own informal participation, that is, by writing to the potential supplier to put forward the possible cost reduction suggestions with regard to the desired items, or by attending the periodic formally organized seminars by the suppliers. In such seminars, the information is provided about new products by basic buying policies and major value analysis problems faced by the organization. Such participation of the suppliers may improve the relationship with them. So the involvement of the suppliers in the value analysis effort is to be made. The checklist approach. In this approach, a number of questions are to be asked regarding a component or a part, and when there is some unsatisfactory answer to this question, it becomes a starting point for further probing in. The questions probably asked are regarding the function of a product. What are the basic functions or to be expected or expected to be performed? What should be the analysis now? Is there any possibility of elimination of a particular function, or what are the alternative methods of function available, and can the alternative materials can be used? So we have to get the answers from the suppliers. Next is material. What is the material specification? Can the alternative material can be used with this material, or can the specifications can be easily changed? Then what quality of material should be used? What is the size, weight? If the size and weight is said to be excessive, whether the quality is acceptable or the quality can be changed according to the price, then will a cheaper material serve the same purpose? Is the cutting done economically without waste? Coming to labor, what are the direct labor costs? Are the operations necessary? Will the alternative operation be cheaper? Can the assembly operations be modified? Then in case of process, is the process being used? What are the basic operations necessary for the process? Once again, any alternative operations are said to be cheaper one, and whether these operations can be modified. Then standardization. Are the materials or components as a standard one? Can the materials be standardized, or it can be changed, or it can be modified, etc. So in all cases, namely the functions, material, labor, process and standardization, the basic question will be whether it is satisfactory or whether it can be modified or any other alternative is available. In case of functional cost approach, the cost of some particular functions appearing on new jobs can be compared with the historical benchmark, that is a benchmark in the past periods. If the cost appears to be excessive, then the analyst investigates further to determine the reason, and the current performance is always compared with the typical cost performance. Next tool in value analysis is the cost analysis. An industrial buyer realizes that many of the prices he or she pays does not accurately reflect the cost of the product. Sometimes he or she may not know whether they are paying a fair price or not. Cost analysis involves the investigation of suppliers' probable cost of producing a given product. An analyst constructs the estimated material cost, labor cost, manufacturing overheads, general overheads. Then using this data, they will be analyzing the cost. The information can also be received from the material price list and the standards from the different industries of the same line, etc. Value analysis is said to be a stock function. It is always desirable that the analyst be of a higher rank, and he or she should directly deal with the top management of the organization. The reporting should be directly to the buying department or to the purchasing department, because the value specialists are in constant contact with the purchasing department. And again, suppose if the largest supply is purchased, supply is made, or any discrepancy is there, then the ideas and the specialized skill can be used directly. Maximum potential can be derived from the value analysis program only if every employee in the plant is value conscious and the management is properly tapping out the potential resources of these analysts. A value analysis team normally consists of the personnel from the various sections, namely R&D department, research and development department, purchase department, material control department, the design, manufacture, inspection, marketing, finance department, etc. So the team must consist of the representatives from the different sections, because the knowledge about all the areas, all the sections must be there to analyze the cost aspect and the value aspect of a product. Value analysis is also taken as a cost reduction technique. This involves study of cost in relation to the product design. Before making a product or before buying a product, a study of its value is made. The purpose is to reduce the cost of the prescribed function without sacrificing the required standard of performance. First, the required function is determined and then the best way to perform it at a lower cost is found. Value analysis is a supplementary device in addition to the conventional cost reduction methods described above. Value analysis refers to systematic interdisciplinary examination of the factors affecting the cost of the product or service in order to devise a means of achieving the specified purpose most economically at the required standards of quality and reliability. It is a systematic application of established techniques to identify the functions of a product or a component and to provide the desired functions at the lowest total cost. It is a creative approach to eliminate unnecessary costs which add neither to the quality nor to the appearance of the product. Value analysis is rational and structured process consisting of functional analysis to define the reason for the existence of the product or a component. Then it is a creative analysis for generating the better alternatives, and it is measurement of evaluating the value of present and the future concepts. So value analysis is said to be a structured process consisting of functional analysis, creative analysis and the measurement analysis. Now we shall see where are the areas, that is what are the areas the value analysis can be applied for. The good results can be expected by applying this value analysis at the appropriate time and the phase of the product life cycle. Now we shall see where to be applied. Before applying this, the following indications has to be studied. Companies' products are losing market and there is a decline in sales. Suppose if you have any decline in the sales of a product, then the value analysis has to be made. Companies' products are priced higher than the competitors. So in this case, there may be a fall in demand. But if the quality is assured, the same amount of sales can be got. New design of the products being undertaken. So new design or new product or new technology if introduced, what will be the demand in the market? Symptoms of disproportionate increase in the cost of production. So if you don't have any control over the cost of production, then what will be the impact on the sales? Decreasing profitability and return on investment. So when the cost increases, what will be the rate of decrease in the profit and what is the return on investment? Then company failing to meet its delivery commitments, what will be the impact on the goodwill of the company? So these are the indications that the value analysis has to be made. Now we shall see what are the different stages in value analysis. There is no strict and fixed approach or a procedure to the value analysis, but normally these stages are studied. We will have the organization phase, information phase, innovation phase, evaluation phase, choice phase, implementation phase and the review phase. So these are all the 7 phases that value analysis has. Before going to these phases, we have to study what is the basic info or information needed, the needs and the wants of the customers, the functions of the products and the components, the appropriate cost of the desired performance, what is the purpose for which the value analysis is to be made, and identify the better alternatives in terms of procedure or work design or usage of the product, etc. Now, with this background, we will study about the phases of value analysis. The first phase is the organization phase. Value analysis team is constituted in the first phase and a product is selected and defined. The team is going to examine in detail the product and its components and understand the nature of the product thoroughly. that is the organization phase. Organization of the value team is formed, is made. Information phase. After the familiarization with the product and its nature, a functional analysis is carried out to determine the functions and uses of the products and its components. The cost and the importance of each function are determined. A value index is calculated on the basis of cost-benefit ratio for each of the function. A list is prepared in which the items and the functions are arranged in the decreasing order of value. Then innovation phase. After getting the information, there is a creative phase, and that is called as the innovation phase, and this is concerned with the generation of different alternatives and even the new alternatives to replace the existing product or to remove the existing ones itself. Then evaluation phase. Each alternative is analyzed now. After finding out the new alternatives or different alternatives, now it is analyzed and the most promising ones are selected. These alternatives are further examined for economic feasibility and technical feasibility. The alternatives are finally selected and must be capable of performing the desired function satisfactorily. They must meet the standards of accuracy, reliability, safety, maintenance and repairs and the environment conditions. After this evaluation phase, a report will be prepared, and this report will combine or comprise of the summary of the evaluation phase and go for the conclusions and the specific proposals. Based on these proposals, a choice will be made, that is the choice phase. The decision makers will select a choice among the suitable alternatives. Programs and action plans are then developed based on this choice to implement the selected alternative. Implementation stage. After the alternative have been selected or chosen, it has to be put in use with the help of all the programs and the action plans, and these plans must be made in advance before implementing it. After implementation, the review phase will be there, because the progress of the value analysis should be continuously monitored and followed up in order to provide the assistance to clarify any misconceptions and to ensure the desired results are achieved. So we'll have organization team, phase, that is forming a team, information, collecting the information regarding the functions of the product and the uses of the product, understanding the nature of the product. Innovation phase, go for the creative phase, finding out the new alternatives, evaluate the alternatives, that is the evaluation phase. Choice phase is after evaluating the pros and cons, we are selecting a choice or selecting an alternative, then going for the implementation, and after implementation, the review phase will be made. So these are all the basic stages in a value analysis. We shall see the advantages of value analysis. Value analysis results in low cost, low price, high sales and more profits. In addition to the cost reduction, it also serves in many purposes. It leads to an improvement in product design so that most appropriate products are manufactured. High quality in terms of value is maintained. So when there is an improvement in the product design, the quality can be maintained and most appropriate products can be manufactured. The efficiency will be increased by eliminating the waste of various types. Savings in the cost will also lead to managerial effectiveness. The new ideas may be generated and it can be implemented. Team spirit will be improved in an organization. Areas which are requiring the attention and the improvements can be easily identified and the improvements can be made. And value analysis is a means for evaluating the alternatives and quantifying the intangibles. It also goes for the utilization of all resources to an optimum extent. The customers were satisfied by way of providing quality and the reliable products at low cost. Making full use of creative ability of the staff is possible. It also helps the employees in understanding their work much better and orients them towards creative thinking through brainstorming. Value analysis always motivates the employees to come up with the creative ideas, which in turn provides immense job satisfaction to them. So value analysis is applicable to all the industrial operations, whether it is purchasing or production or systems or procedures, etc. So value analysis, when implemented in an organization, results in the low cost, low price, high sales and high margins. Now we see to the difference between a value analysis and a value engineering. Normally the terms value analysis and value engineering are used interchangeably, as both have many identical steps in their procedure. But the fundamental difference between these two concepts arises in their areas of application. While value analysis can be applied to any kind of cost, value engineering can be applied only to the direct cost, that is the direct material and direct labor and also the direct expenses. Value engineering is generally used before a product is born and is involved in the design and the development stage. But value analysis is applied to the products which are already being marketed. Thus, the cost subjected to the value analysis may require the application of value engineering. There is a difference between value engineering and industrial engineering. Industrial engineering is said to be intrinsic in nature. It concentrates on the manufacture of a product, and manufacturing of a product is taken for granted. And industrial engineering examines only the best processes to manufacture. It concerns with the producer's perspective. It reduces the cost of production. So industrial engineering is mostly related with the production of a product from the producer's perspective. But value engineering is considered to be extrinsic. It focuses on the usage of the products produced, and it questions the necessity of manufacturing the product, why it should be manufactured. So manufacturing of a product will be covered under industrial engineering, and the necessity for the manufacturing will come under the value engineering. The value engineering also deals with the design, utility and the value leading to the buying decision of any customer. Thus, value engineering is said to be a customer-centric, and it is viewed only from the consumer's point of view, that is the usage and satisfaction level of the consumers. How the value will be added to the products and how this value satisfies the customers. And once again, this value engineering reduces the cost per unit of the products. The value analysis and the work study is also to be compared. Value analysis is not entirely different from the work study. The value analysis also probes into the same depth, the same analytical way, and extremely challenging to the existing mode. In fact, it is required to be the technique to be implemented, and it is to be developed, and to look for the right vendors who are ever springing up, to utilize the know-how of all which is developing at all times, and to respond to the customers' ever-changing taste and the requirements. Value analysis is generally used for planning of materials, spare parts, packing materials, etc. But work study is utilized in planning the labor techniques in production. Both value analysis and work study will help in identifying the areas of cost reduction which is said to be the important focus of any organization. The main cost components will be the material cost and labor cost, as it constitutes more than 90% of the total cost of production. Both the techniques can be successfully employed while preparing the budgets of the organization. These techniques will also assist the management in determining the material specifications and the standardization of the labor, so as to have a complete control and to improve the throughput in performance reporting, a complete performance reporting, and studying about the variances by preparing the budgets. So the variance analysis can also be made by way of having these two techniques, namely the value analysis and the work study. Value analysis is subject to each and every component of a product to equitable examination into so as to ascertain the utility of the product, the cost of the product, whether the cost is equal to the utility, and whether it can be successfully eliminated if it is not useful, and whether it can be replaced when it is not economical, and any substitutes available from the competitor to replace this product, and whether anybody else is buying it is said to be cheaper. But work study takes the product specification for granted. It concentrates on the conversion of the materials into finished product and on the efficiency and effectiveness of manufacturing operations. It also involves all the processes and operations concerned with the work, including the evaluation and measurement in a very minute manner. Value analysis normally rationalizes and simplifies the procedure and makes the utility to increase by having a cost reduction. But work study improves the methods of working the process, namely the manufacturing process, by economizing the efforts and reducing the fatigue among the laborers and improving the efficiency of the laborers. Under value analysis, a small item may be added to an existing product in order to amplify its use, but the cost of that item should be less than the increase in the price. So the cost benefit analysis forms the basis of this value analysis. See to the cost of adding an existing item and what is the benefit that is derived from the existing item. And once again, under the work study, no further materials will be added. The value analysis concentrates on the savings in the material cost, but the work studies relates with the working procedure, that is, how to reduce the labor cost, how to efficiently use the labor time. It helps in assessing the labor requirements correctly and fixing the wages as per the requirements and introducing the incentive schemes. Now, value analysis is also to be studied in relation with job evaluation. Value analysis is said to be one of the important techniques in the hands of the modern management to have a reduction in the cost. It investigates the economic attributes of value for increasing a value in a product. It also believes in a very planned action to improve the performance and thereby generates greater value in a product and ultimately causes a cost reduction. This is an approach to cost reduction through a careful study of a product at the design stage itself, and all the elements of that product can be redesigned, or it can be standardized, or can be improved by having a cheaper manufacturing processes in order to improve the value of that product. Thus, value analysis is said to be an organized level of study of every function of the material or a component or a system. It can identify the areas of unnecessary cost that can be eliminated, or otherwise it can be reduced without impairing the capacity of the item to satisfy the objective. It envisages rationalizing and simplifying a product so that without impairing the utility, the cost comes down. Job evaluation is a process of studying and assessing the relative value of the jobs and rating them as per the systematic plan in order to determine the relative worth of each job. On the basis of the relative worth of each job, one has to place a right man at the right job. Thus, job evaluation helps in reducing the cost of labor time. The objective of job evaluation helps in fixing the wage structure, which is said to be a fair one both for the employer and the employee. Job evaluation also enables an organization to devise a job structure in which job requiring a higher skill will be paid higher rates and jobs requiring a lesser skill is paid at lower rates. It also involves an equitable distribution of wages and keeps the employees' morale at a very high level and resulting in the reduction of the labor cost. This value analysis is subject to every component of a product to the equitable examination to ascertain its utility, its cost, and whether it can be successfully eliminated or it can be replaced or any substitute is available. But the method study is concerned with the simplification and rationalization of the methods of producing the parts or the products. It can be said as analyzing the existing work in a systematic manner, then the current methods of performing the work analyzed completely, unnecessary operations to be eliminated, remaining work is arranged in the best order possible, and usage of the proper method of standardization and simplification of the methods in a very economical manner. The method study also improves the working methods by economizing the efforts and reducing the fatigue while maintaining and improving the efficiency. But the further materials shall not be added and it will not alter the material shape or design. It relates to the area of labor cost alone and it results in the cost reduction. This also focuses on the simplification of the production methods and it can be utilized in planning the labor requirements. But the value analysis results in rationalizing and simplifying a product so that without impairing its utility, the cost should be controlled. But small materials or small items can be added to the existing product in order to amplify its use. But the cost of that item should be lesser than the increase in the price. That is, the cost benefit analysis will be made as we discussed earlier. Then value analysis also results in the savings in the material cost, but the method study will result in the reduction in the labor cost. Value analysis contributes to the improving the productivity and the cost reduction. It focuses the function provided by the product or the material and tries to give the same function with a reduction in cost. And once again, value analysis helps in the planning of material requirements. Now we shall compare the ABC analysis and the value analysis. Value analysis is said to be one of the important tools of modern management in the area of cost reduction. But ABC analysis is said to be a method of material control according to the value. Value analysis investigates in the economic attributes of value for increasing the value in the product, believes in a planned action to improve the performance and thereby generates a higher value in a product and ultimately results in the cost reduction. But ABC analysis is having a principle of valuing the high value items and controlling those items than the low value items. The ABC analysis classifies the materials into A, B and C, high value items, medium value items and the low value items. But the value analysis has the core value for the product: cost value, usage value, esteem value and the exchange value. Value analysis deals with the value control and the research in the product design. But ABC analysis will go for the control of materials by importance and exception. And this ABC analysis is said to be one of the selective method of inventory management, and it is applied in the inventory control methods. Value analysis is said to be a systematic analysis, and it evaluates the various techniques and functions to improve the performance of an organization. It is a pervasive act, and it is used to reduce and control the overall cost of production. Now the value analysis is differing from the other cost reduction methods as follows. Value analysis is basically a method of search, a systematic procedure resulting in an orderly utilization of different alternative materials and processes. A collective approach is desired in case of value engineering exercise, whereas other cost reduction methods are individual item based. Value analysis is also a function-oriented technique, whereas cost techniques are cost-oriented techniques and dealing with the elements of cost only. Cost reduction can reduce the cost very marginally, but value analysis can effect a substantial cost reduction without any reduction in quality and performance. Thus, value analysis can be differentiated with the work study, method study, job evaluation, ABC analysis and other cost reduction methods. Thus, value analysis aims to simplify the products and the process. Value analysis increases the efficiency in managing the projects, resolving the problems, encouraging the innovation and improving the communication across the organization. Value analysis also enables the people to contribute to the value addition process by having a continuous focus on the product design and the services. Value analysis also provides a structure through cost saving initiatives, cost reduction and cost improvement. Thus, value analysis is considered to be very important in an organization, as every organization tries to create a value for their own customers by providing quality products and services. Thank you.